My name is Jaime. I'm co-founder of Kindred Being. We offer Beyond Quantum Healing hypnosis sessions as well as crystals and energy tools. I'm a certified Beyond Quantum Healing Facilitator, and this entire journey started for me in 2017 when my spirit guides stepped into my life. They changed my entire perspective. They changed my entire reality. Since then, my journey has been that of expansion and enlightenment. This is what I want to share with you. This is my story. Good morning. I had some pretty vivid dreams last night, which I'm really thankful for because I used to have a hard time remembering my dreams. So now I'm able to remember them a bit more. So setting those intentions before I fall asleep is really assisting me to recall those dreams. And I really just think they were experiences in other dimensions and interacting with people and places and other timelines and other planets, but I didn't receive a clear message of anything that I should impart today. So I just wanted to say, how thankful I am that I'm actually able to remember my dreams now. So that's something big for me. And today I have a Beyond Quantum Healing session that I'm very excited about. So I'm going to be the client today, and I'm going to be getting some of my questions answered, and it's going to be quite an experience. So going into the office, and I'm going to do that there, and I'll take you with me. Okay, I'm here waiting for the bus. I'm on my way to the office. I've been preparing my body for my session that I'm having today, my Beyond Quantum Healing session as a client. And as I was taking a shower and readying myself for this session, I was receiving so much information and so much clarity in the shower. And water is conductive. Water allows us to align to higher frequency energies. And so oftentimes people will get messages in water. We're made up of water. Water is so important to our journey and our ascension right now. We need to make sure we are so hydrated and that we clear and we clean the water that we're drinking to eliminate any toxins or any energies in it. And we just do that through intention. But that's why I was receiving information in the shower. I have so much clarity to impart, but I'm going to wait till I get to the office where I have a quiet space to kind of tell you some of the things that I've been receiving. So it's mostly about me and about my journey, and I'm hoping that the information can help some of you as well. So I'll check back in when I get to the office. Okay, I'm in the office now, and I received such information as a download and a channeling in the shower. As I was getting ready to come into the office, I just saw a little orb go by. As I was getting ready in the office to come to the office and prepare myself for this Beyond Quantum Healing session. I'm having a hard time interacting on this level right now. So the information I received was a lot about my path, about my own journey in this incarnation, why I have chosen certain obstacles for myself in this life, and how I have and can continue to transcend those obstacles. There's something interesting about being in this state of being, of channeling information and opening your awareness and your consciousness to these higher realms. It becomes more difficult to interface and interact on this 4D reality that we're in currently because the information is so expansive, and these details that we are interfacing with on this level seem to be unimportant and inconsequential. So it's very difficult to choose what you're going to wear, to remember to lock the door, to get to the bus stop on time when this information and this awareness is happening on a whole different level. It's very difficult to then communicate this information using the mind of this density to then articulate it out of this mouth and out of this being. So I'm just going to try to let it flow, which it already is. I've never done this before. It feels like live channeling, and the information is very expansive. So I'm just going to let it flow and do my best to try to not get my my ego self involved in this process. I've been connecting to my higher self, and I allowed it to come through in the shower. Again, water is conductive energy. It amplifies signals and allows us to connect to other dimensions, other awarenesses, and everything became clear in the shower about my path. So I have had many challenges in this incarnation, and I understood that the reason why I'm going to be going kind of in and out of this channeling and this 4D self to try and communicate this. That's what I feel is happening right now. So I'm a light being, as we are all light beings. I am from source, as we are all from source. I am source, as we are all source. And coming into this incarnation and into this body, it was a great lowering of my frequency to inhabit a human body here in this density. And in doing so, it created a conflict within my vibration and my body. As I was an infant, I had a lot of emotional distress throughout my infancy and throughout my life. This emotional distress is due to this conflict of the integration of the higher vibrations into the lower vibrations of the 3 to 4 to 5D energies. So if you ask my mother, she would say that I came out screaming and never stopped. And I have to agree that I did have many emotional problems and conflicts in my life, and at sometimes they were greater than other times, and they were especially apparent as a child. And I used to have regular fits for seemingly no reason, and I'm understanding now why I was having those fits, and I'm understanding that it was a vibration and frequency adjustment, and it was my body rejecting and conflicting and going into war with the vibrations and frequencies of not only my higher self, but also the energies around me. I am here to love, and I am here to emit love, and I'm here to teach love, and I'm here to be love. And when my surroundings and when my environment and when my own body was not of the frequency of love, it causes turmoil and conflict within my experiences. This is something that I lived with my entire life, and that I have had trouble with my entire life. When I began to awaken in 2017, my body was put through a process of great emotional distress. It was extreme densities. It was extreme densities being layered and layered and layered on top of my being. And it was this pressure of these dense emotions and dense energies that I gathered from my environment, from the people around me, that caused an explosion. This explosion was a rallying of my light and love source being against these energies. It was like a volcano where the pressure builds and builds and builds and then explodes. And the explosion that happened for me in 2017 was an explosion of love energies and awareness and connection and understanding that there is more beyond this reality, this dense reality. My guides came into my life and began placing information and showing me the way. Of course, we are all one and we are all source, so there's no separation of us from our guides. Our guides are not higher, our guides are not lower, our guides are us. It is us. My guides are me. Source is me. You are me. We are all me and we are all you and we are all one. But the best way to describe what had happened in my own experiences was an interference by greater energies to align me to the path of love and to the energies of love. This was a path that was designed by me, for me, before this incarnation and before all of the incarnations, to culminate now into a realization, into an alignment of this expansive energy with these lower density bodies, and to transform and transmute these densities to a harmony with the higher frequencies, and to initiate a new era where we are all combining our physicality with our expansiveness and the higher vibrations. This has always been my journey, and this is a culmination, but this is all of our journey. This is not my journey alone. And when I continue to struggle since my awakening and since receiving and understanding the connection of more, when I continue to struggle, it is a struggle against love. Instead of an acceptance and a love and a knowing that all is as it is, and that love will always guide me. The struggles I've had in my journey and my experiences have been to the constraints and limitations put on me by myself and by my perception of others' expectations of me and responsibility to others. This body is now struggling against this concept of responsibility to others. This body feels a great responsibility to others, and this concept is a struggle. This body does not want to cause suffering for others so that we might find the path of love. However, the suffering of others is a perception, is a perceived suffering from the other. The other is working within the limitations of suffering and not expanding beyond those borders and boundaries placed upon the other by the other. This is a lesson. This is a lesson for this body, this being. This is a lesson for the other. This is not an easy lesson. Out of love, we want to care for, we want to take responsibility for others. But we are all one. The expansion that happens in one, in this being, is not a selfish expansion. This is not to exclude all others, this or to the exclusion of all others. This is to include all in this experience. The expansion of this being is the expansion of all. The beauty and the love and the path for this being is the beauty and the love and the path for all. It is not at the expense of the others, though it is perceived that way. It is for the expanse of the others. This struggle is a struggle against love and acceptance and being. Just being the love. In this love vibration, there's an attraction for others who have found this frequency. This frequency attracts other love frequencies and then expands beyond. It continues to expand in a never-ending attraction and expansion. This being wishes to help others and to bring light to others and understanding and expansion to their paths. This is why she does the work that she does with the Beyond Quantum Healing. And she struggles to find the persons to help in this way. This is because she struggles against the love frequency that she lets in and allows intermittently, but must maintain. As this love frequency and energy is maintained, all will be in alignment. She will help and assist to bring clarity to others who are self. And the work will not be a struggle. It is living in these expansive frequencies of vibration that will attract the beauty and the love of experience. That is all. The rest will be transmitted in the Beyond Quantum Healing session scheduled for today. Go with love. That was a first for me to direct channel that way. It's a feeling that is hard to explain. The energy, I'm connected to a higher energy, and this isn't the first time I've been connected in this way. This is the first time it's been expressed through words and language. I would love to live in this space, this energetic space, but it's very difficult to go about our days and our interactions when in this other space. We have to integrate it with our bodies. That way we can function and still be in this expansive energetic space. I'm sorry if this video is long. I feel like it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going, but I know a lot's going to come through in my session, and I actually have quite a bit to do before my session comes. In preparation for the space, I have to set everything up for it. So I'm gonna have to turn this off now and reconnect again later. With love, thank you so much for being with me in this video and in this experience with me. Okay, I just had my session as a client, my Beyond Quantum Healing session, and I've had so many of these now that, I was wondering if anything new was going to come through, and of course it always does, and I always receive further clarification, even though I was able to channel my higher self earlier in the day, and I learned that it was with the assistance of my facilitator, who was sending me energies of connection before the session, which was really amazing. But now I know that I can tap into those energies at any time and connect with the answers and the information at any time in a session or outside of a session. So that's something pretty amazing that happens when you have these sessions, is you then understand what it feels like to connect in that way, and then you can connect more and more in that way in your everyday life. So that was big. Some of the answers that came through made a lot of sense, and I don't know that I can explain them fully without giving a full background of the questions that I had and why I had those questions. I received a lot of information about weight and why I've held weight for most of my life, and that it can be released now, and that I no longer need to hold that weight, and I was holding it for protection against energies, denser energies. This was before I knew how to work with energy, that I was protecting myself through weight because my higher self was saying that the energies of others move slower through weight on the body, and so it took longer to reach my heart chakra because it had to go through the weight in my body first, and that I no longer need to hold that weight because now I've learned to emit my own frequency and emit my own love energy. So instead of taking on other people's energy, I emit my energy now, which we've talked about in some of my videos before. Everything's still set up for my sessions, so forgive me if it looks like a mess in here at the moment. I also received the biggest information that came through that was really powerful for me was I had an experience. This is going to be a long video. I had an experience a few months back where some information from an earlier Beyond Quantum Healing session I had as a client was ruminating. I was kind of thinking about it, and as I was thinking about this information, the expansive energy started to grow and build and build and build, and the energy became very palpable around me, very intense. I was hearing high frequencies in my ears. I felt this pulsating energy all around me, and I was shown the levels of illusions that we live in. And I was kind of taken outside of my body. I was shown the illusions of this reality we live in. I was shown the illusions of many other realities that we can access and live in. The illusion of the new earth, the illusion of spirit guides, the illusion of angels. And I was shown that everything is source, and everything that is not source at its base is an illusion, and that's not a bad thing. All these illusions are here for a reason. They're for an interface for us to interact with and learn and grow and expand from. We are creators of these illusions because we are source. And so through that experience, and maybe in another video I'll go into more detail about exactly what that was like, I felt like I was being brought up to source. I had a conversation with source, and then I was source, and as I was being brought up, I was still connected to this existence as a human being, as Jaime, as who I am today. And I was having this conversation saying, no, I'm not ready to go. I want to stay here because there's still so much work for me to do here. I haven't lived out my purpose, my mission here in this incarnation. I'm not yet ready to ascend. But that's what it felt like I was doing. I was ascending, and I was connecting with source energy. And that's what it felt like, but I didn't have any clarity on it. So after this experience, it happened in the evening. I went to sleep. I woke up in the morning feeling completely disconnected, feeling like there was no energy movement in my body, and feeling like I had no connection to either guides, higher selves, to source itself. I had the memory of the experience. I had the consciousness of the experience and what had happened, but the feelings in my body, it was like I was starting from square one with my body. That was confusing. Over the past months since that experience, I've been having to reteach my body how to move energy through. I've been removing any blockages, and working on things, working on loving again, and working on teaching my body what it feels like to hold that vibration of love. And it's been a little bit difficult because a lot of things kept coming up in my experiences that I thought I had already dealt with. And so I was very confused as to why it was coming up, thinking, okay, I guess I didn't fully deal with this. I have to address this again. So it was quite confusing. It has caused kind of a tumultuous few months, but it has been getting easier and easier and better as it goes, because I'm doing this conscious work of working through all of this and moving the energy and holding the love vibrations, although I have been struggling more with it than I did before I had this experience of going up to source. So I was very confused about why, after this experience, I felt so like three-dimensional again, and so grounded in this interface of this reality and in this body, and not being able to access other realms. So the clarity that I received was that I did ascend in that experience. And what happened was, when my self ascended, my body, my being, my spirit, my higher self ascended straight to source, there was another Jaime from another timeline. As we know, there are many timelines, many dimensions where we exist and we are living out, as other people, or many as ourselves. Every time we make a decision, there's a timeline split, and there's eventualities that are happening in these other timelines. So there are many aspects of us, and where the focus is at this time is the timeline that we are experiencing. So the focus was in the Jaime here in this timeline. That Jaime ascended to source, and then there was another Jaime, another me from another timeline that was very similar to the one I was living in, that moved and converged into the timeline that I had been in. So basically, one Jaime ascended, another Jaime came in and took my place. And the consciousness stayed, so the memory of the experience stayed, but the body was different. The body needed to integrate these higher frequencies and higher vibrations again, to experience those connections to the other realms, and to continue to receive information. So this is what I'd been struggling with. And the information from this session today was basically saying that is my struggle. That has been my struggle since then, is not to ascend and not to reach these other realms, but the struggle has been to stay in my body. The reason why I want to stay in my body, the reason why I want to stay in this timeline, is because there's a mission to be done here, and I'm to stay here in this timeline until the majority of the populace is ready to ascend into the new earth. So I'm here to assist this transition for other people. And so if I ascend out of this timeline, then there's no Jaime here to help and assist in the way that only I can, just like only you can live out your purpose and your mission. Only I can live out this purpose and this mission that was meant for me. And so to keep a Jaime here in this timeline to live out my mission, there had to be a shift and a convergence of timelines to bring another Jaime in after that ascension. So this expansive information that I'm integrating, these expansive energies and vibrations that I'm integrating in my body, is creating such an awareness in my consciousness and my own vibration that my body and my being is wanting to naturally ascend out of this 3D existence. However, I'm not meant to do that. I'm meant to stay here. So I'm meant to stay in this body and in this 3D reality to live out my mission. My body, integrating the information and the energy, wants to ascend, but my mission is to stay here. So this has created an energetic struggle within my being. This struggle of lifting up but wanting to stay here, lifting up but wanting to stay here, lifting up and wanting to stay here. And then I've been using other tools to assist me to stay here. There's lots of things that ground me to this earth. There's lots of things that can ground all of us to this earth. There's physically, energetically grounding ourselves to the energies of the planet. However, I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking, but what about all those expansive experiences I was having? What about all that connection? What about the information that was coming in, that I was receiving? I don't want that to stop, yet I want my body grounded here. So it created this war of energy going on in my physical body of wanting the expansive experiences, but not too much to leave outside, to go outside of this timeline, to continue to stay in a body, in my body, in this timeline, to live out my mission. So I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it makes perfect sense to me, because it explains what I've been experiencing these past months. It explains all of my experiences these past few months. That was a big one. I received a lot of information on a lot of other topics. I might have to share those more a little bit later. My higher self said I would continue to receive information over the next few days. So as I do, I'll share it. That was big. I knew something was happening. I knew something was going on. I had questions about it. I received some answers from a previous Beyond Quantum Healing session as a client. But this was the definitive answer to what has been going on in my body. I understand it. It's going to take me some time to come to terms with it, and to decide what that means and how I'm going to move forward and what I'm going to do with my energy to not only keep myself here on this timeline, but also still connect to those other realms. So this is going to be interesting, and this is going to be interesting, and I'm so happy to share this journey with all of you. My session confirmed that part of my journey is sharing it. And so this is something that I meant to do. This is something that I have to do. And if you can get any value out of this, I'm so happy. And please, if you have any questions, email, comment. I would love to share in any way that I can. So thank you so much for watching.